The story tool of Motion Builder is one of the most amazing tools I've come across in 3D software. It is powerful, it is efficient, and can drastically improve and speed up your workflow if you know how to use it well. I use it every day for different things, and it's just hard for me to work that fast without it. And today I wanted to show a bunch of the possibilities it offers, and hopefully it will help you understand its potential. Hey everyone, Matt here, let me tell you a story. Alright, so one of the most common function is the retiming tool. So with it, you're gonna be able to retime an entire animation or just fragments of it. So let me show you how it will work for one full animation. So I have this running animation here, and let's just say I want to speed it up a little bit. So what I would do, I would go to the story, just create a character animation track, select my character and insert the current take. Now, by default, you would have this arrow here, which is the loop function. And if you click on it, you will see that you toggle the scale function, and it cycles between loop and scale. So the one you want is the scaling one. And now what I'm gonna do is just to preserve the original clip, I'm just gonna create a new take, because with the story, when the story is on, you override everything that is below in your takes. So be aware that if you plot from the story, you will completely override and erase the current take. So if you want to have some backups, always have in mind to create a new take first, and then you can do and play around with some modifications using the story. Now, if I start to stretch the clip to make it smaller or bigger, you can see over here that there is a number that is the amount by which you will multiply the original play rate of the animation. So if I want to speed up my animation, I want to make the clip slightly smaller, so that let's just say, I don't know, something like 15%. And then to keep the clip looping, I'm just gonna frame it to the new frame range, and you can see here that the animation is speeding up. It's very easy because it's very stable. I usually use the story instead of stretching keys or time warp. And then same thing if I want to make it slower, to have a more, well, heavier. It doesn't fit the actual posture of the character nor the body build, but this is how I would do it. Now let me show you how I usually use it to retime fragments of one animation. I'm gonna switch files. So I have this animation here, which is pretty long, and let's just say for the purpose of that video, I'm just gonna make that jump over very slow-mo. So same thing, I'm just gonna add a character track. Actually, as you can see here, I have a camera animated, so I'm just gonna go and select the current camera. I'm gonna Alt drag or X drag if you're using Maya shortcuts, which is automatically gonna create a camera track for me. And I'm gonna insert the character take first in the character animation, which takes some time because the animation is quite long. Same thing for the camera. I have added the camera, that way I'm gonna retime the camera as well, which I want, otherwise my camera will just follow the original speed and then we will lose our character. Now I'm gonna just find a moment where I wanna start the slow-mo, which would be something around here. And now you have the razor tool over here, so if you click, having both of your clips selected, you will cut them at that current frame. And then I want to find, so this would be, actually I want to make it a bit earlier than this, let's say around here. And then I'm going to look at the moment where I want to move back to full speed. Okay. Now to make some space, because these two clips are going to be longer, because I want the animation to be slower, I'm just gonna move them over time here. I'm gonna zoom on these, and I'm gonna make them, longer by selecting the scaling function over here, and I'm gonna make them, so if you want something very slow-mo, you wanna go for something like 10% of their speed, or 20, let's just try, yeah, I'm gonna need to move them a bit more. Let's try, all right, 12. Now let's try slow-mo, and then we go back to the actual speed. Now this is just an example. I usually use it a lot for heater actions. When I have mocap, I like to highlight the actual impact by speeding that moment of the animation by 10, 15, 20%. There's no golden rule for the amount. That's just your eye that is gonna have to work over here. Same thing for attacks, for example. I usually add a small delay, so I would slow a little bit, slow down the animation right during the anticipation before the actual swing, and I would speed up the swing to highlight the strength. The second most common function would be the repositioning mechanic. So I'm gonna go back to the first file, which would be this one, and I've actually prepared a take which is called bad placement. I have a loop which is basically in the middle of nowhere, and even following a very weird angle. So what I'm gonna want to do is just to reposition it to face the forward axis and to make it so that the first frame is on 0, 0, 0. So I'm gonna add this animation once again to the story, turn it on, and then you're gonna have to, if you select the clip and start to move it around, you won't have any gizmos. You have to turn on the ghost here, and then suddenly you will see the manipulator over here. So you are able to either move that manually, which is the entire clip, not the frame, right? And rotate it as well. You can do it manually, or you can input some values over here. So to make sure I'm following the forward axis, I'm just gonna go to the front camera over here. So the first thing I want to do is just to place it on the center of the scene. So if I select the clip, I just had to input 0, 0 everywhere, and then you will see that we're back at the center. And then I will just rotate it so that it's facing the forward axis. Now, same thing, it's really first a good option for you to organize your files, and then it would be something very easy if you want to adapt an animation to environment or some geometry. Just to give you an example, let's just say this module over here is just moved, and I want my jump over to still match the new geometry. I could easily so add the animation in the story, move it around so that the actual hand is placed on the newly placed geometry. One cool feature that is maybe a bit hidden is the reverse function. So that's basically the ability to just play your animation backwards. So let me show you. You just need to insert the current take, turn the story on, and then select the clip, and under its properties over here you would have a category called time warp, and then you just need to click reverse, and if you play, then the animation will be played backwards. Now you might be wondering, is it really useful? I don't use it quite often. I've sometimes used it for prototype animations or to get some solid foundations if I had worked on, let's just say, a strafing animation going right. I would just duplicate it, play it backwards to have the left motion, and then I would start from here to just get a newly fresh animations, of course, but I would use it as a work base. One of the primary functions of the story is in its name. It's to build stories. So it's the ability to stitch clips together. So you can add content from outside, you can add directly from takes, full takes or fragments of takes, and add them onto a timeline to build larger content, exactly like what you do in what you would do in a video editing software. So for the example, I will use that running loop, and I have another animation, a combo swing, and I want to make sure that this combo triggers from the run animation. So I'm gonna make sure it triggers from motion. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by creating a character track with my character with the run animation. Okay. Then actually what I will do is just I'm gonna duplicate it. So you have, and it's one of the other function, you have different methods. You could technically duplicate the clip here and make sure by selecting, for example, the hips or the left foot to create a match here so that they trigger one after the other. And you have another option, which would be to set the clip to read only. I'm just gonna save it on desktop. It's just gonna process a little bit. And then from here, if you're set to loop, then if you drag the clip, you can see here that it starts looping over and over again. So I'm gonna just create 3 of them so that I have, let's create a new take actually. Just like I said earlier, it's good to have just a blank take to prevent from erasing something you didn't want to erase. All right, so I have a lot of data here to be working on, and then I'm gonna bring the combo. So you could technically just add the combo swing take on the same track, but to show you also some cool feature of the story, I'm gonna be using a second track. So let me just create another one with the same character, and I'm gonna add the combo swing. Okay, so just like in a video editing software, this is working as a timeline, which means that the lowest track, or one track, actually overrides the content from all the tracks set above. So you would expect to see the running animation over here, but you can see that you're not seeing this, and instead you're seeing a pause, which is the first frame of the combo swing clip, which is set here. Now hopefully you can, there's a workaround. You can bypass it by clicking on this icon over here and click on pass through. So that track, it means that if there's no clip, that track will just let the information from above flow through, kind of. And it's the exact same thing with a take. You can have the story enabled, and you can also read directly from a take. So if I was to mute that take, you can see here that if I play the animation, there's nothing here, but I'm actually playing something which is in the combo swing take, and then when the clip takes over, we actually play the clip. I can do the same thing if I choose the run modified. I'm gonna have my run animation for 21 frames because this is how long my take is. You can see here with the range, and then later I'm gonna still have the combo swing clip. So remember this because it's really powerful, and I will show you an example of how you can use it in the next function. Now let's get back to what we wanted to do, which is happening on our new take. And now what I want to do is just, I'm gonna have to make sure that this animation triggers well from this. So I'm gonna pick a frame here, which would be a left step. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. So the moment where the character just set the left foot flat on the ground, and I'm gonna match these 2 frames on the timeline. Okay, now by default, of course, since I have all that clip here, I don't have the run animation anymore. The cool part is that story tracks are using a wait function, and it works exactly like layers. So you can even key these. I mean, you can key the wait, which means that you are able to completely mute a track for a moment and then smoothly just animate it by setting the weight to 100 or less. And then since you can animate it, you can do whatever you want. Okay, so in our example here, we want to start by having a weight of 0. And then somewhere near the moment we have that left step, we want the weight to be set to 100. Okay, so that we smoothly blend from one track to the other. And now, of course, what we want to do, making sure we have both ghosts enabled, is that we're gonna have to make our clips match. And then my left foot is the reference point here. That's the downside of working with multiple tracks, is that you're gonna have to manually set the position of the different tracks. But I actually like it better because it gives you much more control. So how does it look? Not too bad, but I guess we could tweak the moment where we... I think this is just a little bit too harsh. The blend is actually too fast, and I think our clip can be just set backward a little bit. So what you can do as well is just when you have a character track selected, go to the F-curves. Oh yeah, there's a bug. So when you select the track and go to the F-curves, the actual track gets, if it's on the same window and you have tabs, it gets deselected. So I'm gonna have to create a new window with the curves. And you can see here, oh no, I didn't want to do that. All right, yeah, okay, my face is just somewhere else, so it's good. And then when I click on the track, you can see here that the weight has a curve, so it's far easier for you to tweak from. Don't pay attention to that rhino under the ground. That's for another purpose. And then you have much more control, because then you can set the keys to flat, to linear, to whatever you want. Yeah, okay, but I think you get the point, right? What I can do as well is just, we could slightly set those clips a little bit sooner so that the blend happens a little bit sooner too. And that's it. See, you have a proper, you have a blend that already looks okay, promising. Of course, you have some deceleration that is not very natural, but as I said, it's usually something you would do to get a very solid work base, and then you would work your way from here by fixing the footing, removing all the slide, making sure the animation has a proper weighting, and so on and so on. Now this is when the Rhino comes in handy. So I've downloaded this heat reaction from Mixamo, and what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna build another story, and I'm gonna make sure that the Rhino reacts to the combo swing that we've just created from motion. So what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna go back to the take I was working on previously, and I wanna make sure that because I haven't done this, I'm gonna have to plot the actual data on a new take. Now what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna import back the entire take I've just created, okay? And leaving the story on, I'm gonna switch to the mixamo.com animation, so take, which is the Rhino reacting. And what I want to do here is just I'm gonna have to time them so that the Rhino reacts to the swing. So the problem we have here is that the Rhino reacts pretty soon. So what I can do, because I'm free to do so, is just I'm gonna drag the clip before 0, before the to set it earlier in time, and I want to make sure that that first strike, I'm gonna mark it here, kind of matches with the Rhino first reaction here, which is somewhere in here. So I've pushed it back way too early. Okay, and then I'm just gonna have to, I can reposition the tool using what we've seen previously in the video to make sure that my character actually strikes that poor rhino. Okay. Just to reframe this. Okay. Now the cool part is that the rhino is completely exterior to the story, and the story only contains that samurai hitting, running and hitting, and then you can build something. You can build a new story from this, and then if you're happy with the result, you can just create a new take, which would be, or let's just make it on this one, for example. If you select your character and then plot it, then if you turn off the story, then in one take you have both of your characters reacting. So then you would need to add a proper idle to the rhino as some kind of anticipation to the strike incoming, but you start seeing the point of the potential, right? And then the last thing I want to show you is the ability to export clips from the story and import them on another FBX on the character that would be compatible. So I'm gonna once again just create, sorry, this is not, yeah, I'm gonna create a new character track, select my character, and then insert the current animation, which is the run 2 combo that we've been creating. And then I'm gonna right click on the clip, making sure the story is turned on, and I will hit export clip. And I'm gonna erase one that I've already created, which is the combo from run. So you can give a name. In my case, I want to erase it, and then let it save. Okay, it's done. And then on a new file, I will insert an animation track with my character, and then in the story, insert animation file, and then select the clip you want, set it to 0, and then you have the animation directly coming from the previous file, which is very stable and very practical if you want to, you know, import animations you've been creating. If you have, I don't know, loops that you want to use in multiple files, that's a very convenient way to just use them in between all your files, and to have this kind of some kind of a library of animations you've been gathering and creating over time. I just think this tool is pretty amazing. We've seen that you can retime your animations or fragments of it. You can reposition your clips in a very stable way. You can stitch clips together and create new assets based on existing ones. You can create stories with one character, with multiple characters. You can work at the same time with the story on and off, having a character that is outside the story, but you can build some assets with a character that is inside the story. It's really amazing. I'm a big fan of it, and I'm sure that in a couple of days you will be too. If you want more tutorials on Motion Builder, I encourage you to click right here. Thanks very much for watching. Have fun, stay safe, and see you soon. Bye bye.